Today I am going to be talking about building a team. Now, why am I talking about this particular presentation from Toastmasters? Because in the very near future, as a matter of fact, May 26th, we will be getting the nominations for our upcoming officers for the new term. In this club, we have 6-month terms. They start July 1st and December 31st, start January 1st, and June 30th. Toastmasters International runs on a fiscal calendar, so the start of the year is July 1st. In this club, since we have 6-month terms, the first term does not need to get all their points for the club. So I just want to point that out, that when you take your first term, July through December, no need to worry about those points, except you want to set your future club officers up for the second term when all those points will be calculated together. So why are we talking about a team? Because without a team, we cannot work together. The benefits of a team are that you can combine your knowledge and have better results.
Uh-oh.
It's easy to get it back. Not a big deal. Sorry. Keep going.
I like to talk about the team as it relates to my family. Because in some ways, it's the same thing of having a team. Because you have to combine everything that you know, and my kids know more than I do, just ask them, and then we make decisions together. Some of the things that you need as in your team is a leader. When you join Toastmasters, you get 2 books, your Competent Communicator Guide and your Leadership Guide. Now, most people think of Toastmasters as only speech giving, but at the same time, you get your Competent Leadership book, and if you look through the pages here, it gives you different tasks to do in each of the meetings so that you can also gain leadership goals. In order to complete your Competent Leadership book, you do not need to be an officer in the club. However, if you were going to go for a future leadership goal, you would need to be an officer. When you're a leader, when you combine the efforts, you can spend less time doing the day-to-day activities as long as you all have the same goals. When you organize your team, ideally you'd like to pick your team members. However, in the club, we nominate members and then we pick who's going to fill those positions. So as far as selecting team members, I like to think about it as I did not select my children, they came to me. However, I still need to know how to work with them. And so we review goals. We try to keep the house clean. We try to keep the laundry done. In Toastmasters, we have goals such as the points that I was talking about. We like to be a distinguished club. That's one of the things that we like to work on is the points, to work on them as the year progresses so that we don't come to the end of the year wondering how we're going to get those points. You need to establish parameters. What is going to be the role of everybody? Are you going to just show up at the meetings or not show up at the meetings or just get the title and not do any work? Some people like to do that. Everybody knows one. What you want to do as a leader is to empower your team. And by that, I would equate that to empowering my children to drive.
Boy.
When you first get behind the wheel with someone who does not know how to drive, you are giving them the power of your life. And sometimes that is extremely difficult. However, You have to share that power because you can't be sitting in their lap, pushing the gas pedal, pushing the brakes, steering the car. So think about that as when you're the leader. You're giving them the power. And what better place to do it in an environment that is safe? If I screw up in this presentation, I'm not going to lose my job tomorrow. So this is a way for me to gain the skills to be able to present better so that when it really counts, I'm doing a better job. This is the presentation that was given by Toastmasters, and that's why it comes down as it does. As far as holding effective meetings, I personally think it's best to have the meetings once a month. Some people like to have it every other month, once a term, and I think that if you don't have meetings often enough, then your team members don't know exactly what's going on with your goals. I also think that it's a good idea to give individual projects to each of your officers so that they can run with it the way they want. And after this presentation, I'm going to go over the different roles. And I think it's a great idea to communicate. When I was an officer, I would like to have a report once a month. Each of my officers gave a report to the team so everyone knew what they were working on and what the status was. I find that it's beneficial because then everyone knows who the team members are and they know what they're doing. And again, collaborating the knowledge, other people may have ideas that you may not have thought of. Conflict resolution is one of those touchy subjects that everyone has a different way of dealing with conflict. But the thing that you need to remember is that it is a volunteer organization. Although there is a hierarchy in the Toastmaster framework, there's really no hierarchy between me volunteering and you volunteering. It's just the position that we're holding at this moment. So be respectful of all your team members and be sure to listen and give them the time that you would expect to get from them. There's been, in this club, the short time that I've been here, a lot of changes. And those changes have been developed through suggestions of people in the club. And some people will say, well, we've never done it this way before. Well, the benefit is to try something different and it may be better than it was. Now, one of the things that comes to mind is when Janice was actively involved in this club, she had said when we had guest speakers that they would, guests who came into the club, they would be asked to speak on their first time. And then a lot of times, those people would never come back. And I'm not talking about the introduction. Of course, we want to know who you are. But we wouldn't expect that you would come up and stand here unless you so chose to give a little presentation. And so that was one change that we had made, and I think it's been a good change. I know when I first came as a guest, I didn't want anyone to even talk to me, much less come up and give a little presentation. Again, looking at what I said about driving, I have to first make the foundation of what the rules are, then I supervise, then I facilitate, let them make their driving decisions, coach them along, monitor how they're doing, let them go out by themselves, and then recognize them as being a good driver and build that confidence so that they make good decisions in the future. We will be having our nominations on May 26th. And we will have our elections on June 2nd. And if we get the right team and they get the training that they need, then this club will continue to grow as it has in the past. Right now, I'm going to go over a few of the officer positions. What is it telling me here? Let's just see. Okay.
Windows 10. If you've not upgraded yet, consider.
Pardon?
It's a nice ad for Windows 10. I must confess,
Yeah.
I've never actually seen anybody have a desktop that had nothing on it before. That is actually sort of impressive, really.
Okay,
Dun-dun-dun.
thank you. And as you can see, I'm learning how to use this system here. So like I said, our nominations are May 26th and our elections are June 2nd. Like I said, in Toastmasters, there's a hierarchy, and Sergeant at Arms is the first position that a lot of people will have. Now, I think Sergeant at Arms is a good position to start, and what you would do is you would set up the meetings, coordinate the spaces where the meetings will be held, and then if there's any changes, then you would notify the team that the meeting place has changed. After that, we have our treasurer, and our treasurer oversees the accounts. They are the money person. I love dealing with money. Some people hate dealing with money. The thing that I like, Diane is our current treasurer, the thing that I like about the treasurer position is that if you don't have a lot of time, it kind of goes in chunks. You collect your dues, you make all your payments, you wait until supplies need to be ordered, and then you will go ahead and pay for those supplies, pay the bills, things like that. Someone joins new, you have a little work to do, but it's kind of in chunks. As secretary, this was a position that I think Eric did a fabulous job on. And he developed a new format so that each week the notes would be in the same order. And I thought it was easy to see who our guests were, who our ribbon winners were, what the topics were, who attended. Excellent job. The thing about secretary's job is that you have to do it every week and you have to be timely. So that is a little more labor intensive. Vice President of Public Relations. When Janice and Shatish were here, they did an excellent job at working together, public relations and membership. I think that Shannon has done a great job at getting us out more into the community by using the resources that are available. Vice President of Membership, I held this position once, and what your job there is to recruit new members and have a membership drive. Because of various reasons, at that time we didn't have a membership drive. We were supposed to have a membership drive in the near future. With all the Verizon employees out, we probably will not have another membership drive for a while. One thing I liked about being in VP of Membership is that you get to talk to the guests a lot. And I like to show what Toastmasters can do for you and get people excited about it. So I enjoyed that job. One of my favorite jobs was VP of Education. Thing I liked about VP of Education is I got to touch, not literally, but via email, every one of the members and find out what their goals were and help them achieve their goals. And the other thing is the points that we're not really covering, but I keep mentioning. It was very helpful to track who was getting what awards, and I just like to do that to help people along. And then president. I liked being president. The thing about president is that you need to speak at every meeting. Everything really comes funneled through you, even though you don't really have authority over people. If someone doesn't show up, if there's no Toastmaster, if there's something that falls through the cracks, a lot of people will come to you to find out what to do next. As long as you're organized, hold your monthly meetings, that is also a fun job. So I leave with you today to consider taking on one of your leadership roles. The nominations again would be on May 26th. You could either nominate yourself or nominate somebody who you think would be good in any of these positions, and then we'll have the elections on June 2nd. Thank you.